why do we do that? It's a really good question, because sometimes it might be we do it because we've always done it, but it might not be the right way to do it. Well, my name is Alistair Fraser Hawkins. I'm the UK CEO for the corporate practice at Marsh Ltd. Marsh Ltd is the UK limited entity of the largest global insurance and risk broker in the world, a company called Marsh Ltd. My role is to focus a team of 650 people around a strategy to look after what we call mid-corporate clients. So essentially companies that turn over between $25 million and about $600 million. And we look after their insurance and risk needs. Our job is to advise them what risks they need to protect, service those needs, and purchase insurance and give them risk management advice as to how they best structure their risk and insurance needs. I think it's quite interesting. CEO just means you're kind of chief of everything. But the primary function of a CEO is to build a team of people who have a diverse set of skills and a diverse set of attitudes that can build solutions for our clients. So for my day, I spend everything from talking to clients, understanding what clients need, talking to colleagues, making sure colleagues are feeling engaged in the business, getting ideas from them. And then from those two, both from colleagues and clients, then building a strategy that will enable us to have a growing business, a profitable business. And then looking at other things like operations. How do we make ourselves more efficient? How do we digitize ourselves in the modern world? How do we make the customer and the colleague experience better? We're not a perfect business, and the role of the CEO is constantly to be challenging what we're doing to make essentially the experience of either engaging with the company as a client or engaging with the company as a colleague to be better today than it was yesterday. The hardest part is you never find perfection. So you always look at the business and go, we could do that better, or we could do that better. I think there's also part of it is you carry a weight of responsibility. I always think about the fact that I am responsible for 650 individuals, and I'm responsible for their lives to a degree, for their financial well-being, because if we've got a successful business, then they'll be successful, and obviously their family. So there's this kind of burden of responsibility that I carry. But the flip side of that also is the best parts of the job. So the best parts of the job are you're able to constantly look at things and change things and drive improvement and see success. And then also the same is true of individuals. You bring individuals into the business and you can see them grow and thrive and mature and go off to do other things in the Marsh organization, either in the UK or globally. So the two kind of come hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. For me, insurance is the grease of the industrial machine. So when you look at companies and how they operate and what they do in terms of how they grow their businesses, the new products they produce, all of that is underpinned by insurance and giving those companies the comfort and stability to go and run their businesses, expand their businesses, employ more people, produce new products. All of that is underpinned by insurance. So your ability, it's a very dynamic industry from that perspective. The piece I love about the business isn't so much insurance or the technical aspects of insurance, but the ability to talk to companies across a spectrum of industries, understanding what makes them tick, understanding their DNA, understanding their growth objectives, and then how we as an organization can help. If you're determined enough, you can get it. You have to make some of your own luck, and we all rely on luck to some degree. But I'm also a great believer that what you put out, you get back. So if you put positivity out, positive things will happen to you. They may not happen immediately, and you may not necessarily be able to correlate one thing to another. But I think what I've always tried to do throughout my career is treat people like I wish to be treated, try and take the positives from situations. You don't always do it. Sometimes, stress makes you do weird things, and sometimes you can lose track of that. But that ability to engage with people, be inquisitive, I would have no issue in someone picking up the phone to me and saying, okay, what do you do? And how do you do it? And what do you do? Almost like this sort of interview scenario. So I was very typical. I enjoyed my friends. I enjoyed sport. I enjoyed being social. School was a kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say necessary evil, but it was one of those things that I realised I had to get certain qualifications in order to be, attractive to employers. But it wasn't my entire focus. Firstly, be yourself. Don't be embarrassed about who you are. Because ultimately, as an organisation, and when I'm hiring for people, I want to see the real human. I don't want robotic answers. I don't want scripted answers. I want to see the person. None of us are perfect. We all have flaws. We all have areas where we're unconfident. We all have times in our life where we have challenges, whether that's mental health, emotional challenges, whatever it is. Anyone who says they don't is either completely out of touch with themselves or is lying to you. So I think, firstly, be yourself. Secondly, remember we are all humans. Regardless of our job roles, we are all humans. So don't be afraid to reach out to people with a constructive sense to build a network of people and say, hello, I'm so-and-so, I'm interested in this industry. You appear to be a leader in this industry. Can you tell me a bit more about it? I would hope that most leaders, certainly in the Marsh business, would take the time to go, what an interesting approach, let's have a conversation. And I think the final thing is, if you're in an interview, don't be afraid to have an opinion. Now, that opinion might be contrary to things you've read, but having an opinion, as long as it's backed up with thorough thought and process and good judgment, that's what you want to see as an organisation. I want thinkers, and I want people who will, in the right way, challenge the status quo. We want people to just squeeze it. Why do we do that? Why are you doing that? Why did you say that? I always liken is when you have kids and they start to get to the age of 3 or 4, their favourite question is why. Everything is why. And at times it can be quite annoying. But actually, if you take that to an organisational sense, having colleagues go, why do we do that? Is a really good question. Because sometimes it might be we do it because we've always done it, but it might not be the right way to do it. If the boss is the best at everything, then they've not got the right team. Yeah. You should always have people surrounding you who are better than you at certain things, because your ultimate aim is to bring them up to your level as you go on to the next. So great teams are, you could use a football analogy. If you had 11 Harry Kanes, whatever side they'd have would have a pretty weak defence and goalkeeper. Which is why you have to have people with different skill sets in the team, which is what makes a successful team, not everyone being the best.